Life's a blur till you live, and I'll be the first to admit it. I wouldn't listen to you even if you voiced your opinion. Cause when you this high in the clouds, bands come with division.
I was wrong. When that incident happened at the beginning of December, at that point I was trying to come up with an escape plan. At that point I was working with myself on knowing and feeling that it was okay to be by myself. I smoked and I drank to get my mind off of what was going on. December 30th, 2012, I was in the shower. And this is probably like midday. He comes busting in the door and was like, somebody just text your phone, hurry up and get out the shower so we can see who it is. I was so confused. We get out, go to my phone only to see that it was now unlocked because of the constant attempts. Because at this point I have put a password on my phone. I failed to mention that when I was talking to him upset on the phone, when he first called me after being processed, and I told him at that point what I read about that girl being pregnant, he denied it. He denied that the girl was pregnant by him. I get in my phone and I noticed one of my guy friends text me a flyer to a show. A flyer. And I looked at the message. He's standing right in front of me. He's like, so who is it? Who is it? So I said, it's my friend, and he sent me a flyer to a show. He. Hey, I told you I didn't want any dudes texting or calling your phone. Get your shit and get out. Hey, I had already been planning to leave anyway. I'm dressed at this time after getting out of the shower, and I remember going in the guest room to get my stuff together. I'm packing my stuff, and it was like a dream, a bad dream. Out of the blue, I feel a strong pressure against the back of my head. Am I tripping? Like, did he throw something at me? And so when I turned around, another punch comes. And this time hitting me in my face. After feeling that hit against my face, I just remember blacking out. I started hitting him. By the time I realized what I was doing, I was hitting his head against the wall. What was done prior to that, I don't know. He's constantly pulling my hair, trying to get me off. And his great-grandmother comes up there and she gets in between us and breaks us apart. I'm hysterical at this point because I am starting to check into what happened now. I think I was more mad that this shit was done in front of my dog than anything. I called my mother, which was the hardest thing to do because nobody wants to call their mom and tell them some news like that. So I called my mom and I tell her what happened. My mom heads over to come get me. By this time, all my stuff is together. I have King in his cage at this point. I was waiting outside for my mom. My mom pulled up. I had my hair down. And I remember, and I think it was my right eye. Yeah, it was my right eye. So I took my hair and I covered my face and I tried to basically walk to the car or the truck with my head down. Anybody that knows my mom, you cannot get past her with anything. And she's like, what you holding your head down for? Lift your head up. And she said, let me see. And I remember moving my hair. I will never forget the look on my mom's face when she saw mine. My mom looked at me like her eyes just grew big. I remember her, saying like, and walking towards the door, and Daryl's great-grandmother was afraid and locked the screen door, and so my mom was trying to get in and basically telling her, like, he gonna get his ass whipped, like, he got what's coming. No mother should have to see that. No mother should have to see their child like that. As I'm in the car with my mom, I'm thinking to myself, I am now that girl from the courtroom, and my mom is now her mom. And I knew exactly how that girl felt. I was now her. I definitely did not let my father see me, my brothers. I just didn't want to be seen. I was embarrassed and I was ashamed. It was a painful, painful healing process. I still had to go to work, and I was a bank teller, so I just used my hair to cover my face. I remember flowers arriving to my job. I remember just letting them sit there. They sat there for days at work, and then I eventually threw them in the trash. It took a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, for my eye to get back right because a blood clot was busted in my eye. I remember this day because it was my brother's birthday, January 15, 2013. My mom, she's not a big cooker, but one thing she can cook is a steak with some onions, a lot of onions, and then put Heinz 57. I remember pretty much swallowing that steak, and I remember she was like, "Dang, did you eat today?" Shortly after eating that steak, I found myself jumping up, running to the bathroom, and I threw up. That just wasn't a normal throw up. I text my second older sister, and I asked her to pick me up a pregnancy test. I remember going in the bathroom. I remember taking the test. And then I remember bursting out in laughter. I'm pregnant. The test says I'm pregnant. Both tests say I'm pregnant. Shortly after that, I started bawling. I did not want to know that I had any connection with him. I had to do a lot of thinking for myself. And I remember texting him and telling him what I had discovered. It was just something in me that told me that it was the right thing to do. It was the right thing to tell him. He texted back and he asked, could he see the test? Mind you, I had not seen him since December 30th. He had pregnancy tests that had 3 of them in there. And I took all 3, and all 3 said positive. I remember him specifically going into that mirror and dancing in excitement and saying, "You stuck with me now." And I remember him saying, "You thought I was crazy before. Wait till you have my kid." That's psychotic. I left and I bawled again. I remember opening my Bible. I remember reading my Bible. I remember relating to a story with David. It was me. It was what I was dealing with. I was crying. I was wanting Christ to hear my cries, and I wanted him to see that I was very sorry for what I had put myself through. I cried for Christ's forgiveness because I knew that I was not keeping that baby. I just knew. I asked Christ to forgive me for what I already knew I wanted to do, because I knew that I did not want to be with a psychotic individual. I knew I did not want to risk myself and my kid. And to be truthful, I did not want to resent my own kid because of who his father was. who I chose. He was texting me. I told him I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I remember him saying, please, like, please don't do this. Please, you know, what happened won't happen again. It had already happened 3 times, dude. Like, your strikes were out. The following week, he said something to me about the baby, and I responded to him and told him there is no baby. Him texting me back, calling me names, including a baby killer, calling me out of my name, such as the B word, and, you know, the stuff that he normally did. The stuff that he tried to convince me was changed and would be changed. It just took for him to get mad again for it to show up again. So from that point on, he left me alone. You know, after I was a baby killer, I accepted it. I made my choice. I was comfortable with it. Even still today, 8 years later, I am comfortable with my choice. I will not change what happened. I want to say probably a few days after I confirmed to him that there was no baby, he then posted pictures on his social media of him and a baby, saying that it was his son. That girl that wrote him on his Facebook and told her at that time that she was 7.5, 8 months pregnant, because I did not keep our child, he then went on to claim his child. Which, if you think about it, that's really fucked up. That's really fucked up to his son. That was literally the end. 2012, I was not myself. I was just, I don't even know. I think it was just so much stuff had been happening to me back to back, and it was just like it all had kind of got into this big ball that just kind of trapped me in it. And it's not cool to be in a toxic relationship. It's not funny. It's not cute. It's nothing, you know, because it could have been a lot worse. If I was dealing with somebody crazier, you know, it could have been a fatal situation. I hope this story helps a lot of people. And I wanted to set an example, and I wanted to let it be known that although I wouldn't change what I went through, but it definitely taught me a lot. It definitely stamped my life. I'm going to be 30 in a couple of months, and just realizing like the stuff that really affects me at the age of almost 30, it's like, it's time to get this stuff out. It's time to release this stuff. And even though I don't plan to see Daryl or talk to Daryl ever again, I will have to say at this point, I will have to forgive him. That's my story, y'all. And I'm sorry, I've tried to fight back tears as much as I could. Not looking for anybody to feel sorry for me, because I don't feel sorry for myself. I just wanted to share this to help the next person. I'm going to go ahead and go. I'm glad I actually got the courage to sit in front of the camera and tell the story. So thank you guys for tuning in and listening, and God bless.